Hi, nice to see you again. Welcome to Module 2 Decode Textbooks. This is the lecture video for students who choose Learning Path A, which is Explore Textbook Literacies in Humanities and Social Sciences. These subjects include history, literacies, or language arts. For students who are more interested in exploring mathematics book and sciences book, you may go to Learning Path B. If this is the right video for you, then please keep going and watch it. We are going to talk about three pieces in this lecture video. First, I'm going to introduce more about the general ag model. I know it's already in your pre-lecture reading. I hope you have already done it, but I'm going to explain more about it. And the second, I'm going to talk about the general chart that I would like to share with you. This chart is a really powerful tool for educators like us to help identify the different types of vocabulary that students may face in the textbook. And the third part, I'm going to use the history textbooks to show you how we can apply general ag model to analyze a textbook and help support students to identify the vocabularies and sentence patterns and the general type and structure to better understand the textbook. Now let's look at the general ag first, and I'm going to use a pen tool to support my explanation. So you may find this graph from the pre-lecture reading on page 39, and it is this general ag model actually is adapted by Angel Mei Lin in 2010, and we may like explain this or like deconstruct this model from two ways. The first way is from the bottom up method, and the second is through the top down method. If we go it by bottom up um, method, then we may start to look at the general ag model from the inner side, the most inner side. And it is about the academic vocabulary layer, and then followed by the sentence pattern, and then look at the academic functions, and then the text type and the curriculum context. And we can also like apply the general ag model and look at different layers from the outside, which where we start from the biggest side, biggest layers. And I really find this to a very powerful tool to guide me to deconstruct the text because it provide me a very clear um, like pathway and to make me think what I need to focus if I want to abstract the important knowledge from the textbook, because most of the occasions or situations we educators or instructors may have the existing textbook, and with this general ag model we may better like analyze the textbook, and we will not ignore like important or neglect important knowledge. And what I want to introduce to you is this general purpose stages and phases chart designed by Rose. And this is a powerful, why I say this is powerful too is because especially when we need to identify the genres of the text, because in different subjects we may meet different genres. And for example, in history, we may encounter history recount or history account most, and while in like and also anecdote is another common type that we may see. And all in like physics or biology, maybe the classifying report and descriptive report are the common types we may see in those subjects. And it means like in different subjects it will have its own particular important genres that we need to help students to deconstruct and identify those text types, because I know that in a lot of like big exams, like China is a really exam oriented country, and students need to answer a lot of quite like top types of questions in their high school examinations, entrance examinations, or middle school entrance examinations, and they need to write down like long answer question, and I deal with like word problems. And in that time, how they answer the questions, like whether they can identify what types of genres they need to write down as the answers, is really super important for them. And we, as an instructor, we first need to identify by ourselves, and we need to summarize the features of each genre types and to share this knowledge with them so we can better prepare our students for those long word problems and long word answers. So these charts will show you like in different subjects what are important genre types we need to focus on and help students to master. And I'm going to attach this chart into the additional resources in our lecture overview page so you can access to it after the lecture video. And now I'm going to explain to you how I apply the Yonerak model to my daily life teaching experiences. So here, this is textbook in history, and this is a secondary history textbook, and my target student are those secondary school students. And one of the topics they need to learn is about world history. And in this chapter, in this section, they need to learn about the life in ancient Rome. And as you can see, the text, it has long pieces of wordings and the text, and they are in different sections. So after I analyzing the textbook from the from the um, s- academic text type, I found that maybe I can what I can do to help students understand it is to reconstruct the text, because there are some similar texts. For example, like well, they are explaining the Roman towns, and um, the viaducts and the aqueducts, and the sports and entertainment life that Romans did. They are quite similar. So what I did was I kind of redesign the text and develop my own text. And here is the text I adapted from the textbook, because I want the students to master the history descriptive recounts text genre in this lesson. So first, what I did is I highlighted different types of wordings, used different colors, and I color coded subject specific words using red, and genre academic word using green, and signaling word using yellow. And what I want to say is that this color coding, they are not randomly selected. Oh, and here maybe the space is a little bit different. Maybe I need to fix it later, but I will upload the right version to the lecture files. And I'm just keep going. So here is a file I also want to introduce to you, is this file. I also already uploaded into the additional reading resources, which you can refer to. So Davis and Gardner, they have developed list, which is an Excel document, and you can search for different type of academic words in that Excel list. And they also like counted like the frequencies this kind of academic words happened in across subjects or in certain subjects. So that's how I related to develop like the core like the vocabulary identification. So this is my first step. I My first step is to identify the words that student need to master, and I also classify them into subject specific word, which they may only meet the words in the history subject. But the second, they need to also master the general academic word, which means not only in history but maybe in, for example, like physics, biology, math. They are all going to um, encounter this kind of words. So this is also the type of word that they need to master. And there's a third type is called signaling word, which means some words, for example, like so and like and. Um, and like for example, these are different type of words that signaling the next part, what's the next part is going to be. For example, the word so it means in the later part is going to explain the reason for the previous cause. So this by helping them to identify different type of signaling word and how they function, it can help students to better master and analyze the text by themselves. So I would like you to. Um, I would like you to pause the video here to think about what kind of strategies or activities you can use to help students master vocabulary level, sentence level, and text structure level, like the knowledge. You may pause here. Okay, well, so now I think you must come up a lot of ideas on how to support students master these three layers of knowledge. And now I would like to share mine. So first, for the vocabulary level, what I did is I developed a bilingual glossary because our students, they not only need to learn English, excuse me, they also need to learn about the Chinese word of this English word meaning. And for some students who prefer like studying visually, I also attach pictures to it so that they can better help them to picture the word and the meaning in head, instead of making it too abstract. And this is how I design it. And also for the word level, I also designed word puzzles for them to have the after class review. Is a kind of gamification and like gamify the learning process, because by this way maybe they are more enjoying the process of memorizing the vocabulary. And here I also use like sentence level to um, explain the vocabulary, so students may have the impression on how or what does this word mean. And for the sentence level, I use a sentence generating table, which I find is also another very strong tool for students to understand sentence structure. So there are different types of sentence structure that they may serve for different functions. For example, like defining sentence, it would normally will structure by first uh, the technical term, and then followed by verb, and then it will follow by noun phrases, and then with the relative clause. This is one of the feature that a defining sentence may have. So that's why I more you know um, extracted from the text and using the sentence generating table to show the features of this kind of sentence. So in the future, when they have the exam and they want to like express something is something, they can use this kind of sentence structure to express their ideas. And this is also the similar one, like some sentence they also have share a common feature in describing things, like there be and plus noun phrases. For example, like there is a tree, there were blah 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 blah. So here, this kind of uh, sentence generating table can help them to quickly identify the features of different type of sentence and meanings, so which can help them to maybe in the future deconstruct the sentence and understand the long sentence meaning in a more convenient way. And uh, for the text level, like the genre level and text level, what I did is first I like using um, mind maps. It could be like charts or tables like this, or it could be like graphic organizer. With this graphic organizer, it can clearly show students how this text is structured. For example, in this text, it first introduced like different types of activities that Romans did when in their leisure life. So they may go to like these three places to do different things, and like in, for example, like in each infrastructures, they may did different things in different places. That's how this um, paragraph is structured. What I also did is I help the students to reconstruct the text, but they are all built on finishing the previous phases, which like students need to first understand the vocabulary and then the sentence pattern, sentence structure, and then the paragraph structure, and now they may go to the text structure. So I was supporting students to rewrote the text together. And for example, like the Romans were great builders, right? And the towns were carefully planned. The city was an example. So maybe the students, they can write using a round and complicated sentence patterns, like which can be firstly proved from their town planning to combine the first two sentences. And this is also practicing their grammar and like sentence level abilities, especially for those high achievers. And like when they go to like upper grades, the standards and expectations for to them will be higher. So it is also a good time for the secondary school students to kind of practice how to reconstruct a simple sentence to like compose like compose sentence or long sentence. So basically, this is how I apply the genre act model to plan my own lessons. So this is the video for module 2. And I'm going to upload the related files into the module. And don't forget to complete the post-lecture assignment. See you in the next module.